Alright, now, so before we cut our vegetables, I just want to show you all this. We have brought our rice to where it's ready to steam. I'm giving it one good stir to make sure all of my beans are incorporated all the way through the rice. And then I'm going to move it to my back flame where it is on a medium-low heat. Let me let it cool down some. But my back flame is on a medium-low heat. And I'm going to let my rice go back there. Put the lid on it. And it's going to steam until all of the water evaporates out of it. And then our rice will be done. Curly Q's. This is Curlinda with Curlinda Can Cook, and today we are about to make some Jamaican rice and peas and some curry chicken. Okay, but before we get started, y'all, I have to tell y'all the funniest thing that happened to me today. See that chicken that's sitting right there? This whole chicken right here, y'all. This one. So my daughter calls me and says, I ain't gonna call her name, right? Because I don't want to put her on blast out here. But I have to tell y'all what happened. My daughter calls me and says, Mom, I have some chicken. Can you make me some curry chicken? And I have some curry powder and I have some red kidney beans. So can you make me some rice and peas? Okay, all fine. Bring it over. I'm like, bring your own pots. So you're not taking my pots home with you because my pots have a tendency not to come back. So she's like, oh, okay. All right, but I don't have any gourmet pots like yours. I don't have gourmet pots, y'all, but I do have pretty pots, okay? But I got her point. But anyway, you're going to take your own pots home. That way, when they're not returned, I'm okay with that because they're your pots. Anyway, y'all, so she bring me that chicken right there. She brings me curry powder for her curry chicken, white potatoes, about 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 of them. Okay, 8 white potatoes. And y'all, she baked me a bag of kidney beans, 2. Now, mind you, yes, we can. Y'all know me. I'm a cook from scratch kind of girl. But y'all, late in the evening, if we were going to start making them right there, we should have had that this morning or sometime in the middle of the day so we can let them kidney beans soak and cook. So, daughter, what Mama did for you is I decided, y'all, since I'm going to cook her some curry chicken, I went to the store, I bought her some chicken, got her some chicken cut up, and got me some chicken cut up too. Because now I'm going to make dinner ×2, okay? For our rice, this time of day, we're going to use some kidney beans. And I'm trying these kidney beans with the coconut milk already in them. But what I did, you all, is I also went and got me some extra coconut milk too, okay? Because I need the coconut milk for my rice. So, but that's the funny of what happened to me today with my daughter. Bless her heart, Lord. But we're going to have to get the grandbaby some food cooking, and we're going to have to get my baby some food cooking too. So with that being said, y'all, let's get ready. Let's get set. Let's get cooking. All right, Curly Q's. So to get started here, what we're going to do is we are going to get started by cutting up our scallions for our rice. We've gone ahead and washed them really good. Now we're just going to give them some thin slices so that we can have them in our rice. As well as we have some thyme, and we have our beans. We're going to add a little bit of olive oil to it, some garlic, and our coconut milk. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've already pre-washed 2 cups of rice, And we have set 3.5 cups of water that's going to go in it. Now with this thyme, I'm going to go ahead and just chop it up a little bit to go into my rice, because I'm not going to take it back out later. And again, everything that we're doing here is going to be times 2, because I'm cooking for my house and their house. We also have some salt that we're going to put in our rice as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the stove to get the first pot of rice going. Then we're going to come back and cut up our vegetables for our curry chicken. Now for our rice, we've washed out our pot. What we're going to do is go ahead and add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to our pot. And to that, we're going to add our garlic. Now, you can use fresh garlic for this, as much garlic as you like. And then we're going to go ahead and add our thyme and our scallions right in there. And we're going to give this a good stir up really quick. Y'all, this flavor here, I mean, the smell of it is so good. It smells lovely. My house is going to be smelling really nice in a minute. Once this aroma gets all through the house up to the front door, all of my neighbors going to know that I'm cooking. Once you open that door, honey, and they get that smell outside. So what we're doing here is we're just sauteing this down a little bit. And then, like I said, everything we're doing, we're cooking times 2. So I'm going to actually transfer this pot to that back eye so that I'll be able to use the next pot for the chicken. Alright, so now that we have this pretty much sauteed down, we're going to go ahead and add our beans to our pot. We're going to sprinkle some salt. About a good teaspoon of salt in there. And then we're also going to sprinkle some black pepper in here as well. Now, if you have the cracked black pepper, you can use that too. Y'all know I use my cracked black pepper sometimes. And like I said, these beans already had some coconut milk in them, but I am going to add more coconut milk to this. So I'm going to add a half of this can of coconut milk just to make sure I have my coconut flavor where I want it. Because y'all know the rice ain't right without the coconut milk. But I did want to try these beans with the coconut milk in them to see how they cook up. And then we have our 2 cups of washed rice. We're going to go ahead and add that in there. Y'all see what happens with washed rice when you let it sit in the cup. At least for all of our food critics, you know that this rice was washed, because if it wasn't, it'll just fly right out of this cup. And that rice was washed and drained for the most part, so we are just scraping it on up out of there. Alright, that's good enough. And we're going to give all this a quick stir. Doesn't that look good already, y'all? And to this, so that our rice can cook off, we're adding 3.5 cups of water. And we're going to let it come up to a boil and do its thing, and we're going to transfer it to that back eye back there. Alright guys, let's get ready to season our meat and cut up our vegetables. Alright, now so before we cut our vegetables, I just want to show you all this. We have brought our rice to where it's ready to steam. I'm giving it one good stir to make sure all of my beans are incorporated all the way through the rice. And then I'm going to move it to my back flame where it is on a medium-low heat. Let me let it cool down some. But my back flame is on a medium-low heat. And I'm going to let my rice go back there. Put the lid on it. And it's going to steam until all of the water evaporates out of it. And then our rice will be done. And I also have my second pot of rice going on here as well. So now, let's get to cut up those vegetables. Okay, so now we are ready to cut up our vegetables in our bowl. We have our chicken that has been cleaned and washed. This was actually chicken leg quarters that we had cut up so that we can make them for stew. So we're going to just go ahead and take this chicken and set it to the side. And in our chicken, we're going to add some a few sprigs of thyme in there. So go ahead and get that on the way in the pot. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of garlic in there. And we're going to cut up our scallions. We're going to cut up 2 scallions in there. But with our scallions, we're not going to cut them as small as we did for the rice. That way, if you have a person eating and they don't like the scallions, it's easier for them to remove them out of their food. And then we have our carrots here that's been washed. We're just going to go ahead and take that off. And all we're going to do is just go across our carrots. Like so. Now I'm cutting these at an angle. If you don't want to cut your carrots at an angle, you don't have to. Y'all know how I am about food. So at the finished product, this is important to me, how it's going to look. Okay. So in my mind, I already have an idea of what I want it to look like when it's done. If you have not already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you will get notified of all the delicious dishes that I make over here for you on my channel. And if you decide to try any of our dishes, please make sure that you leave us a comment. Give us a shout out on our Facebook page where you can post a picture and tag us at Curlinda Can Cook. And we're also on Instagram and Snapchat as well at Curlinda Can Cook. Alright, so now that we have our carrots and everything cut up, we're going to go ahead and cut up the white potatoes. Peel your white potatoes. If you have a potato peeler, use your potato peeler to peel your white potatoes. I'm old school, so this works faster for me to peel my white potatoes. And all I'm going to do is just take these potatoes and cut them in a few bite-sized pieces. And we'll add them into our pot. Okay, so I'm just going to take it and cut it in half. Take that half, slice it in half, and give it a good 3 chops. 2 to 3 chops. You want them in pieces that are noticeable in your food. You don't want them so small that they turn into mush when they cook, because you want nice potatoes, not mashed potatoes in the end. If you like a lot of potato in your dish, go ahead and cut you up a lot of potatoes. If you don't, then we just, just cut you up some just for a little seasoning. Maybe like 2 or 3 potatoes tops. If you see an eye like that, just take your knife and run it around in there and it'll pull the eye out. Again, take your potato, you're going to cut it in half. Cut that in half. Chop it a couple times. Well, that ran across the floor, so we can't eat that. We ain't doing no 3-second rule over here. That's going in the trash. Alright, so you just cut your potatoes you know, in a few bite-sized pieces. We're going to cut up one more potato here. Okay. With our rice, we have 1 pot boiling, 1 pot steaming. Now, I'm not going to cook any extra vegetables with this because I'm adding my vegetables into my pot with my curry chicken. But if you want, you can cook cabbage on the side. Sometimes I do cook cabbage on the side, but today I'm not going to do that. Alright, so now we got that out. This potato is a little more flat, so alright. So what we're going to do is get our potatoes rinsed off, incorporate our potatoes. You see just that fast we cut up us a bowl of potatoes. We're going to get our potatoes rinsed off. We're going to incorporate our potatoes into our chicken with the rest of our vegetables that we've already washed and cleaned. And then we're going to season our chicken so that we can get it on the stove and get it frying down. Okay? So now that we have all our vegetables in, the one thing that you did not see me do, but I want to tell you that I did it, is I went ahead and cut up a whole onion and added a whole onion into this vegetables in this pot. Now, we have our oil on the stove seasoning. We have our oil on the stove heating up. We are adding this to taste. What I just added was salt. This right here is our main attraction of this dish, which is curry powder. Okay. Then we're also going to add a little paprika, just for color, cosmetics later. We're going to add some dried basil to this. We've already added our thyme and our scallions. We're going to add some allspice. And we're going to add ginger. Now in this, your allspice, your ginger, and your curry powder, those are your main factors in this, okay? We're going to give this a good stir. You can stir this with a spoon. I'm doing it with my hand. And what we're going to do first, oh y'all, this smells so good. What we're going to do first is just fry off our chicken. We're going to leave our vegetables in our bowl. And then we're going to fry off our chicken so that we can give our chicken a nice brown coating on it before we add this liquid in. All of this juice that's in this bowl, we are going to add it into our pot, okay? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to wash my hands. Actually, I don't have to wash my hands. I'm just going to go ahead. Y'all hear that sound on that chicken? Let me turn my camera around so you can see what I'm doing. So what we're going to do here, we have hot grease in this pan. We're just going to go ahead and add our chicken, leaving the vegetables inside the bowl. We did leave the skin on this chicken. Wash my hands. Now we're starting this rice up right here. This pot of rice is already steaming. I'm going to turn this down and let this steam as well. See how nice and pretty this chicken looks? That's why you want your oil to be really hot when you put it in there so you can get a nice coating onto your chicken. And we're going to keep doing this to our chicken until we get it all cooked in here. Your chicken doesn't have to be fully done because once we get it all cooked up, we are going to put it back in here to let it all steam down and incorporate into our vegetables and our other seasonings that we have. Alright, so I'm going to cook down all my chicken, and once I cook down all my chicken, I'll be back to show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so now what we have done is we have cooked down all of our chicken. And what we're going to do, all of our chicken that we had cooked before, is we are going to take our chicken. Uh-oh, get your ball, Mama. Where's your ball go? Right there. We did not cook this chicken 100% because we don't want it overcooked in our finished dish. So what we're doing now is I'm just trying to get a space for all of it to go as much in the bottom of the pan as possible. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this juice and pour it right on the top out of this bowl because that's really good rich juice, right? And then our bowl that we had our vegetables in earlier, right here, all of those vegetables. See the liquid that's in there? This chicken is pretty much done. It just has a little more cooking to do. And again, we don't want it to be overcooked. So what we're going to do is take all of our vegetables and pour them right on the top like so. And then we're just going to let this steam. We're going to put a lid on this. And we're going to let these vegetables steam right on the top of this chicken for about a good 20-25 minutes. Because with your potatoes, you don't want your potatoes overdone. You don't want anything in this pot overdone, really. Now, with this also, if you want to use boneless chicken, you can use boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You can use whatever you want to use in it. I do not recommend using the breast because the breast has a tendency to get tough in the long run. I personally don't like it. But I will use like the thighs, the legs, the wing, but I won't use the breast in my curry chicken dish because of the texture in the end. Again, what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to let this come up to a boil a little bit. I'm going to put the lid on it and then I'm going to let it slow cook and get started on my next batch. Because remember, y'all, I'm cooking this times 2 for 2 households. So let me just go ahead and get this in position to do its thing. And we're going to get started on mine. Now, here we go. We're going to repeat the same step we did the first time. We have our grease hot. I'm going to go ahead and put this chicken in this grease. Now, this is a different type of pot. That's why you see here the fry different with me first putting it in there. But this is really hot. This pot still has the coating in the bottom of it. So that's why you didn't hear it fry up as loud as you did the first pot. But it is just as hot. And one reason why I bring that to your attention is because whenever you're cooking in your pots, some of your pots, we call it seasoned. You can season a pot. And when you season that pot, you've kind of tempered it somewhat. So that pot will cook different than a newer pot or a pot that you may have, like in this case where it's all still intact with the Teflon in it. So that's why, you know, sometimes you'll hear us say cook it for, say just to say, for example, between 20 and 30 minutes. Because depending on your pot and depending on your cook on your stove, it may cook different. So if you see yourself having to cook a little bit longer, that's okay. Because your pot may be different from the pot that the next person is using. This pot right here, I can tell you, will cook faster than this pot because this pot right here is in a different condition than this one. This pot right here is what you call a seasoned pot. This is my daughter's pot. So this pot has been around for a long, long time. just as well as this pot right here with the rice. They've been around for a long time, so they are more seasoned. With that being said, we are just going to go ahead and let this chicken cook and do its thing. And the same thing as the first time. We're just going to fry down all our chicken. Once we finish frying down the chicken, we'll be back to show you the next step. So we just gave our chicken its first turn. And you see how pretty and golden brown this chicken is? Yes, honey, that's what you want, something like that. Let's take a peek at our rice back here. Y'all see that right there? That rice is done. And look at that. You see how it flakes off? That's what you want. That's how you know you have not added too much water to your rice. See how it all flakes off? You don't want flaky rice. Okay? That was the beans on my fork. So we're going to take that and put it back down. Go ahead and give that a good wipe down with all that steam that just came off. And that rice is done, honey. Now we're going to check this pot of rice right here. And same thing. Look how flaky the rice is. You see that? That's what you want. You don't want bubble gum for rice. You want rice. So this is done. That rice is done. Let's check on this chicken and see what's going on. It's been steaming down. And you notice we didn't add any additional water to it. Because as you let the pot cook with the lid on it, the steam is going to add water to your pot. Well, let me rephrase that. Your meat is going to make its own water from the juices and everything and the steam that's coming from the pot. Alright, so we're going to let this go ahead and cook now. We get our fork washed off and get ready to put our second batch into this pot. We've added our second batch of chicken into our pot here. What we're going to do is I'll show it to you in this pot. But we're going to give this pot right here a good stir. It's been steaming for about a good 15 minutes now. So what we want to do is stir our vegetables down into it some, so that we can make sure our vegetables are incorporating in the liquid and getting done. Y'all, this smells so good, okay? When I tell you this smells good, ooh, that grease just popped. This smells so good. Like I said, you want to let your vegetables cook on the top first, because you don't want your vegetables to overcook in your pot. While I'm standing here, I can just go ahead and flip this. And then we're just going to let it keep doing its thing. See how we're getting that nice pretty brown on our chicken? That's what you want. And we're just going to let that cook down. Then we're going to do the same thing. Put the chicken back in, put the vegetables on top, put a lid on it. Let's go ahead and give our stove a really good wipe down. And put your rice at this point, if you have a warm setting. Uh-oh, I moved that, y'all. Sorry. If you have a warm setting on your stove, go ahead and turn it on warm. If you don't, just turn it on the lowest setting that you have, which will probably be labeled low. But put it on the lowest setting that you have so that your rice isn't cooking and scorching under the bottom. You can turn it off if you want to, but the only thing is you don't want your rice to cool down too much before your chicken and your vegetables get done. So I just turn mine on the lowest setting on my stove. So I'm just going to let that cook a little bit on that side, then we'll repeat. Alright, y'all, we already get this chicken the final flip. And we are going to add our other chicken back into this pot, just like we did the last time. Finding as much room as we can in the bottom of our pan, honey. Now I must say this, if you want to add a Scotch bonnet pepper to this for a little bit of heat, go right ahead and do so. I know y'all heard me say in my other videos, my husband doesn't care for much heat, so for me, I don't add the Scotch bonnet pepper into my dishes like that, though I love it. But I will sometimes kick them up with the little red pepper flakes, because that's a different kind of heat than the Scotch bonnet. Now what I'm going to do, the juice that was in this bowl from the chicken, I'm going to go ahead and add that back in. I only put a little bit of oil in the bottom of my pan, but if you want to pour the oil out of your pan, go right ahead and do so. I don't add any more water into mine, so I just leave the oil. Now what I'm going to do, just like I did the last time, is just go ahead and take all that juice and all those vegetables, and I just pour that right over into my pot. Don't that look good, y'all? That looks so, so good. And I'm going to let my vegetables steam on the top for about a good 10-15 minutes. And you can see, you really don't see any juice or anything. But when I let it steam, I'm going to put the lid on it and let it steam. When I come back and take that lid off, I'm going to show you all how it makes its juice with that lid on. So let's give it about 10-15 minutes and I'll show you what we have. Alright y'all, so we've been steaming here for 15 minutes and I just want to show you what we have. If you remember when we left off, there was nothing, no juice in this pot. But you see what happens? As you let your pot steam with the lid on, you get a bunch of juice in your pot. And that's from the steam and you know, like I said, the natural juices that's coming up out of the meat. So you don't have to add any water to it. Now what we're going to do here is just give it a good stir so we can get our vegetables down in the liquid so they can go ahead and cook off some. Again, we don't want to overcook our meat and we don't want to overcook our vegetables in this. So we want potatoes, not mashed potatoes. So we're just going to let this cook for about another good 10-15 minutes. And we will be ready to plate up so we can eat up. Alright, so we are about done with our pot. Y'all can see how much gravy has come up into this pot on its own. So what we're going to do is, I know that our vegetables are pretty done, and here I can touch them with my spoon and see that they're breaking. But what I want to do is taste it to make sure that we don't need anything else in our pot before we serve it. Remember, stir, taste, repeat. That way, you always hear me say, you don't want to give nobody bland food. Taste it, see where you are. That way, if you need to add something, you can add it now. And with this pot, I can add a little bit of salt. Then I'm going to give that a quick stir. I don't want to be too rigorous with my stir because I don't want to break up my potatoes, because my potatoes are pretty done. Or my carrots as far as that's concerned. But yeah, y'all, this pot is actually finished now. Let me go ahead and taste it again. That little bit of salt brought it up. So that's all we need. I'm going to let it cook for about another 2-3 minutes. Like I said, it's pretty much done. But I'm just going to give it another 2-3 minutes for my chicken. And y'all, that's a wrap. We can plate up so we can eat up. As always, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. If you have not already done so and you've been with me this long, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you will be notified of all the delicious dishes that I make over here on my channel. You are watching Curlinda Can Cook, and I am Curlinda. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to shoot me a quick email or leave me a message down in the comments and I will respond to you. You can also find us on Facebook at Curlinda Can Cook. We go on Facebook Live every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. with our Sunday Sizzle. That way you see us make breakfast dishes and something that may be inspirational to you to add to your breakfast arsenal. Also, we are on Instagram and Snapchat at Curlinda Can Cook. So there again, if you make a dish that we make on our channel and you get some inspiration, go ahead and take a picture. Tag us in it so that we can shout you right back, okay? And thank you so much. We're just going to let this all cook down here a little bit for about another 2-3 minutes so that we can plate up and eat up, guys. Alright, guys, so we are down to the end here. Look at that pot, y'all. Ain't that nice? Now what we're going to do is to make sure that nothing overcooks is we're going to go ahead and turn our pot off and let it finish cooking in the off position so that nothing overcooks. This pot right here, we've already turned it off because that one's already done. We had our rice still over here steaming. We turned that off. And again, if you want to add scotch bonnet peppers to anything in your dish, go ahead and add your scotch bonnet peppers. Just because you didn't see me add it, that doesn't mean you can't add it to your own dish. So, as always, thank you all so much for watching. I am going to go ahead, let this do its thing for the next 2-3 minutes, maybe 5, and then come back and plate so we can eat. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you stay blessed so that you can be a blessing. Take care. See you in the next video.